because there is right-leaning or conservative-leaning or whatever you want to call that, and then there's left-leaning or progressive-leaning and whatever you want to call that, who are liberal in the classical liberal sense, broadly speaking, or even to a degree in the modern liberal sense, which is its own problem. And then there are these kind of these entities that are not on the ends of that spectrum. They are actually separate from that spectrum. They have abandoned the kind of core classical liberal and modern, to a degree, liberal underpinning.
And that's what he's saying again. So again, guys, James's position is that if you are not a classical liberal, then you are on the woke right. I know that most people have heard me say this. Classical liberalism means the left wins. This isn't even hard to figure out. Classical liberalism means the left gets to continue doing everything that it's doing. It gets to continue causing as much chaos as possible. It gets to continue indoctrinating kids in school. It gets to continue to push bullshit all throughout the curriculum. It gets to continue to write as many books as it wants about crazy topics. It gets to continue to control media and entertainment. It gets to continue doing every single thing that it's doing today, except that every once in a while, the right sends it a strongly worded letter saying, hey guys, can we have a conversation about this? Can we have an intellectual debate where we all wear tuxedos and drink whiskey and smoke cigars? And can we talk about this? Because we think that what you're doing sucks and we don't like it. And we want to make an intellectual debate against it. And the left goes, piss off. No. Or the left goes, sure, we'll have a debate. And then they keep doing everything they're doing anyway, and nothing changes. And this is why the intellectual dark web completely failed at solving any problem at all. They made a lot of money for the people in the intellectual dark web. And then what happened? Everything continued as usual. This is why the so-called big tent of people who were just interested in individual liberties back in 2020, it's why it completely failed to solve the problem. Because all it was a narrative and a rallying cry to get people to vote for Trump, and it was never real. And so, basically, listen, in my heart of hearts, I'm an anarcho-capitalist. I don't want the government to exist. I want people to be able to say and do whatever they want as long as they're not impacting me and not forcing me to do anything. However, I also live in reality. I also live in the real world, and I know as long as we continue on any sort of classical liberal path where every once in a while the left gets sent a strongly worded letter saying, hey guys, can you cut this bullshit out because we don't really like it for reason X, Y, B, and Z. Intellectual arguments are never going to win this battle. The left is too far ahead. They don't give a fuck what the right says. There is no amount of intellectualization or critique or debate that's going to change any of this. And so if people want to commit to classical liberalism, then you might as well get yourself ready for communism, because that's where it's going to go. This is why I say I am not on the same team as James Lindsay, because James Lindsay is on team classical liberal. I think that classical liberal gives the left everything they want.
Ethnic neutrality is, the woke left also counters ethnic neutrality. They say that the hegemonic, the past hegemonic values were bad and exclusive of alternative views, and nothing is neutral. The woke right also agrees that nothing is neutral.
Duh.
Instead, that there is some cultures, like the one that they hearken to in romanticized vision of the past, is good.
For the last almost 100 years, the left has run roughshod over every major institution in society. They took over the colleges and universities. They took over the K through 12 public schools. They took over the news media. They took over entertainment. They took over nonprofits. They took over corporate America. They took over many institutions within the federal government. They infiltrated the military. They infiltrated churches. Classical liberalism did nothing to stop them. So can we maybe just consider for a moment that maybe the left was onto something? Maybe because based purely on the virtue of them being completely successful in taking over and controlling all of the institutions that they tried to take over and control for almost 100 years, can we maybe just consider the fact that maybe they were onto something with their methods? And based purely on the fact that classical liberalism was never able to stop them, maybe the fact that the left controls every major institution in our society is pure evidence of the absolute and abject failure of classical liberalism. And so if the left is so successful doing everything that they've done, being an illiberal ideology, then maybe it's worth considering that if we really want to beat the left, maybe we have to stop doing the same things that we've been doing for almost 100 years, because those things are not working. I know I feel like I'm simplifying this too much. I feel like I'm just really making this something that a 5-year-old can understand. But the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again and expecting different results. And you might not like that classical liberalism doesn't work because you have some innate sense of fairness and justice. But what I learned growing up is that the world is not fair. Not everyone gets a fucking pony. Not everyone gets the job they want, or the car they want, or the boyfriend they want, or the friend group that they want. Not everyone gets to go to the school that they want. Not everyone gets to go, not everyone gets to do everything they want to do. Some people get to do the things they want to do, and some people don't get to do the things they want to do. And sometimes you get what you want, and sometimes you don't, because life is not fair. And I'm just kind of wondering why James Lindsay never learned this lesson. Why are we continuing to expect that life is about fairness? And if we just show up and we behave like good classical liberals, then the left will show up and stop doing every crazy thing that they've been doing, because guys, we should be fair. That's not the way life works. Some people get a pony, some people don't. Some people get to go on the expensive Disney World vacation, and some people don't. And that's the way it goes. So if you're showing up to a gunfight with a knife, and you're expecting the guy with the gun to treat you fairly because I only have a knife, is it fair? You have a gun, this isn't fair. Illiberalism is the gun. Classical liberalism is the fucking knife. The gun is always going to beat the knife. Every single day. Because life is not fair.
That one key difference between Marxism and fascism is Marxism says the existing culture is oppressive. We need to flip it over and take it out, and we control it. And the fascists reply, the existing culture is oppressive, and that's a good thing. So we need to do more of it.
True.
And the true right, therefore, is easily latched.
Because the culture that's being oppressed under fascism is fucking communism. There's nothing wrong with listen, man, here's my position. If I have to exist in this world where things are unfair and not everyone gets a fucking pony, I am perfectly fine oppressing communists. I am absolutely fine oppressing communists. I am completely fine oppressing communists. 1 in the chat if you are fine with oppressing communists. 2 in the chat if you think communists should be able to say and do whatever the fuck they want, no matter how much it fucks up our society. I remember a time in our society when it was very literally illegal to teach communism in schools. In fact, I think it is still technically illegal to teach communism in schools because we oppress communists in America. I have no fucking problem taking away the right to free speech of every fucking communist in America. You want to spew bullshit? You want to spew queer ideology? You want to teach people that gender doesn't exist and they're non-binary and they can be a fairy or a deer or whatever the fuck? You want to teach people that they can run around fucking up every institution in society no matter how many other people it hurts? No, those people can go and get a fucking timeout. I don't want to live in the same world as those people. I don't believe those people uphold American values. I don't believe that teaching a 5-year-old that they're not a boy or a girl is good for the welfare of society. I don't believe that teaching people that owning your own stuff is bad is good for the welfare of society. I don't believe in teaching people that we should rely on the state for every single thing that we need is good for society. I don't think that's good. I don't believe that we can have an empowered population that is productively contributing to the world and have communism and socialism at the same fucking time. I don't think that's going to work. If you're doing stuff in your own home that you own because we don't live in a communist society, because in a communist society, no one owns their home. Everyone knows that, right? No one owns their home. No one owns land. No one owns apartments. No one owns businesses. No one has parental rights. That's what a communist society looks like. If in your own home, you want to call yourself they, them and dress like a fucking dog and go and shit in a fucking litter box, I don't fucking care what you do in your own home. But I don't want that being taught to school children. You hide that away in the privacy of your own home. You can, if you're a man and you get turned on dressing like a fucking woman, you know what? There's a time and a place for that, and it's called the fucking bedroom with the doors closed and the blinds drawn. Like, people used to understand this. I don't need to see your fucking sexual fetish. Kids don't need to see your fucking sexual fetish. There is nothing wrong with keeping sex in the bedroom with the fucking door closed, off the fucking internet, out of the public streets, certainly out of the public fucking schools, where it belongs. Have whatever sexual fetish you want, but do it in private. This is not asking too much. I absolutely want to oppress people who want to drag their fucking sexual fetish out into public and then tell me I need to make accommodations for them for their sexual fetish in fucking public. There is nothing wrong with wanting to oppress these ideas because it is better for everyone to oppress these ideas. People need to be given guardrails. And if people are not giving guardrails, and classical liberalism is not inclined to give them guardrails, classical liberalism is inclined to say, all ideas are created equal and we should have a healthy debate. No! I don't want to have a healthy debate about whether or not I have to see your fucking sexual fetish in public. I want you to go back to your house. I want you to go in your bedroom. I want you to draw the shades. I want you to shut the door. You can do whatever the fuck you want in that environment. I will not oppress you at all in the privacy of your own home. But I don't know why this is controversial. I don't know why we need to be teaching this shit in schools. I don't know why we need to entertain fucking parades around this shit. I don't know why we need to dedicate entire months to these ideas. And if you don't do it, then you're a bigot. No, I reject all of these things. Classical liberalism supports all of this stuff being done in public. Therefore, I do not support classical liberalism because I don't want to see your sexual fetish.